Good evening, everybody. Figured I'd blast your eardrums just for a few seconds. I wanted to do another short video. And good evening, Voodoo Queen. This won't be a very long video, but I want to make everyone aware that the Missouri legislature is going to go into a short session, September the 6th. Good night, Jonathan Ashley. Good evening. And so this is just a call. I know the people from the Missouri Freedom Initiative are already on top of this, but this is to anyone else who might watch this. Please be aware that because of this special session, what we're trying to do is to get the sales tax. Okay, let me back up a second, because what the governor would like to do is he's proposing an income tax cut. Okay, just a cut to income taxes because of inflation and so on and so forth. And Edward Bowman's with us. Hello from North Alabama. Hello from Missouri, Mr. Bowman. But anyway, our governor has proposed a special session. Again, it's September the 6th. What we would like to do is get everybody and their brother and their sister and their mother and their father and their cousins and friends, families, foes, whoever, and the children even. Get them to call not only your state rep, but call the governor's office during business hours. It's not like the state reps where you can just leave a voicemail. So you have to kind of call during the business hours of the governor's office, I'm guessing. Tell them that you want to see the sales tax removed from groceries. Now, there was a bill, and I cannot remember the name of the bill. Let me look it up, because this might be of use. I wish I didn't write this down beforehand, and I should have. Let's see. Sales? No. Wow, if I could spell. Oh, let's see. Was it? No. Does anybody remember? Okay, sorry. Good. Thank you, Voodoo Queen. HB 1992 was a bill that was in the legislature last year. Did not. Man, I can't type tonight. And yeah, the last thing it did was on the informal calendar. It went from the formal to the informal, formal to the informal. Informal. That's all that it did, because our legislature is so awesome that. And this is Mary Elizabeth Coleman's original bill. So this is just a call to action. I told Patrick I would do this. As Patrick, he wrote something up. And in fact, I think it's going to be the St. Louis Post-Dispatch has actually agreed to run it in the paper. And I told Patrick that I would do a short video just to ask that everybody call their state reps and put this forth to the governor and amongst themselves and make a push so we can eliminate the sales tax from groceries. Now, again, we're talking about groceries. It's anything you can buy with food stamps, so not liquor and tobacco products and all this. Strictly for things that you can buy with food stamps. You would eliminate the sales tax from that. Now, some people are going to be like, whoa, money, tax, what are you going to do? Oh, my God, we can't let the government lose any revenue. Believe me, they have an overflow from the lottery. They're fine. The amount of money they actually lose from sales tax on groceries compared to where else they could lose it at or compared to if they eliminate sales tax on something else, the hit is minimal. And let's just face it, government gets too many damn um, too much damn money from us anyway. So they, and inflation the way it is, we have 2 more years of a child sniffer in office. So God knows what else those crazy people have planned for us. And I guess you could say this is our way of nullifying inflation a little bit here in the state of Missouri. I don't know how I don't know, help out working people, helping out the less fortunate when they go to buy groceries, that their grocery bill is a little bit lower. I don't see any problem with that. But that is the plan. This is our push right now for the special session. Now, we got some other stuff coming up next legislative session. But right now, let's get the sales tax off of groceries. Let's help out. It doesn't matter how much money you make, because we all pretty much go to the grocery store. Not many people can say they never go to the grocery store. We all do, okay? It might be a few things. It might be a lot of things. Regardless, let's save the people of Missouri some money at the cash register or the self-checkout line, however you do it, whatever. When you're paying for your grub, let's save you a little bit of money at the register. Also, so that it just, yeah, Ganai says, how awesome would it be if we didn't accept federal dollars? That would be amazing. Man, if we could ever get the state of Missouri to that, if we could get our state government to that point where they weren't taking federal dollars, I don't know, I'd die with a smile on my face right there, I'll tell you that. That I'd probably fall over from a heart attack if it happened, but I would die with a smile. Because we desperately need that. If we want our state to be truly sovereign, then what we have to do is we have to get away from the, we have to wean ourselves off the federal money. But, it doesn't mean it would be a hell of a hill to climb, don't get me wrong, but worth it. The battle is worth it. Because even if we couldn't have, totally eliminated, but let's say we eliminated 80% of the federal money that came in and got our state legislature to stop spending money on every stupid little thing they could come up with, that's still a big win. Because that weakens the feds' hold on our state. The less money we take from the federal government, the less hold they have on the state. That's the important thing. So, but yes, let's get the sales tax removed from groceries. So I've already called my state rep. I called him a little while ago and left a voicemail. I'm going to ask that everybody else do this. I'm going to put a post on Facebook. I'm going to post something on Twitter. I think my wife is going to do the same thing on Facebook to try to get as many people as they can to just leave a voicemail with their state rep and say, hey, I would sure like to not pay sales tax at the grocery store even more. Hey, Warrior Class 3. Yeah, even more awesome would be none of our money going to the Fed to begin with. Yeah. I haven't downloaded it yet, but Tom Woods has a free ebook called, I believe it's nationaldivorce.com. Let me verify that because I heard it on his, yeah. He's got a free ebook. It's called National Divorce. The Peaceful Solution to Irreconcilable, oh my God, I can't talk tonight either. Irreconcilable Differences. I'm gonna download this and read it. Now, I know I'm supposed to get on here and just talk about the sales tax on groceries, but you know how it is. You're doing a live stream. I'm in here chatting with folks who join in. I want to ask you all a question, I'm being serious when I ask this question. Let me get a little more comfortable here. How many of you have sat back and thought about uh, a divorce, the state divorcing itself from the union? Because if you say secession, people start, twitching and frothing at the mouth. So I try not to use that word. But have you ever thought about what it would be like to just divorce ourselves from the union? Let's say we keep going. Now, we keep gaining some freedoms back. But let's say our government gets even worse than it is right now, which is a very good possibility because, let's face it, it's the federal government. It's going to get worse. And let's say they really, really, really start overreaching, worse than they already do, which is hard to imagine. But let's just say it. And we just can't seem to come to a peaceful resolution with these people. Do we consider a national divorce? Now, this is just a question that I'm going to put out. And Voodoo Queen says, yeah. Ganai said there would be some sort of war. Here's the interesting fact, and this is what I'm hearing from Tom Woods and others. There are even leftists. There are states that are very progressive or very left-leaning. They have contemplated the same thing. They actively talk about this. So this isn't just from the freedom side of the spectrum, the people who just want to be left alone. It's from the, Warrior Class 3 talks about Texas. I need to have him back on. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He does every Wednesday night. He does a live stream on Facebook from the Texas movement. I had him on my old podcast, The Push for Liberty, and I interviewed him. And because, it's interesting to me. But yeah, there are somewhere up northeast, one of those states. It might have been Vermont or something. There are people from that state, because the feds aren't progressive enough for them, that they have actively talked about leaving the union. So if you get left-leaning states leaving the union, and you get freedom-loving states leaving the union, and for totally different reasons, our reason would be because the feds interfere in everything. They're that awful middleman, so you have some kind of transaction or something, and all of a sudden this hand just goes right in the middle. We'd like our cut, please, or whatever. Some tyrannical rule they've come up with. Yeah, New Hampshire, I believe you're right, Ganai. New Hampshire's talked about it as well. Now, I know it would not be easy, but if you got multiple states doing on opposite sides of the spectrum as far as freedom lovers versus people who are heavily socialist, types, if you get both of the extreme ends of the freedom spectrum, I guess we'd call it, leaving the union, would there be a battle? Because how is the government going to frame this? If you have a heavily progressive state that says the feds just aren't socialist enough for us, and you have the opposite side who love freedom and want as much as they possibly can, at the same time bowing out and saying, hey, we're going to redress our grievances here, and then we're just going to say, peace out, Girl Scout, because we're done. And the extreme ends, freedom's not extreme, but you get what I'm saying. Because compared to progressivism, socialism, freedom is an extreme, opposite of progressivism, socialism, Marxism. It's something that I think about. Because I believe at some point, and there are others that believe the same way, that this is going to become a thing. That they believe that there's going to be Biden would use F-15s. Probably try. Um, but there are thoughts that in down the road, it might be 50 years from now, that there are going to be states who will be leaving the union. And, it won't be just one and done. It'll be several doing this. And what's going to happen then, let's say they made up, three or four states. Let's say like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas all decided we're just going to be, some our own country. You had 50 of your own countries or whatever. Just, um, and it's going to be the same thing. It'll be the same way. You're going to have states that are way more free, and then you're going to have the Californias, the New Yorks, the Oregon, the Washington, Illinois. Those states will still tax the crap out of their people and, be very tyrannical. And then other states are going to be really free. I know a lot of people don't think it, and it may not go smoothly, but I do believe it's going to happen at some point. The more that the feds push against the states and the people, I believe, I believe, my thoughts, that the reaction is going to be more extreme. The more extreme the feds get, the more extreme the reaction from the states. And this is just everyday life. If somebody just comes up to you and talks to you civilly, normally you respond civilly. But when there's force involved, more than likely you respond with force, right? Your reaction is going to be kind of the same. But in this instance, if the feds keep pushing the states into a corner, then the reaction may be, okay, well, we'll just leave. We'll just say bye-bye. And you can just do whatever you want with the other 49, 48, 47, whoever decides to stay in here. But yeah, Ganai says that's why each state has its own constitution. I mean, you look at things like John Calhoun and some of the others have said and spoken on the sovereignty of the states, that are we I can't remember the word. I can't remember the exact terminology they use, but, we're not, the Fed is supposed to be made up of the states. But the states and the feds are supposed to be separate. But the power of the federal government comes from the people, just like the power of the state governments come from the people. But the states are supposed to have their sovereign, each being a sovereign state, and fight against or nullifying bad, laws repugnant to the Constitution or whatever. But I'm just saying, it's something that I think about. And Ganai's right. If states were going to leave, they need to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. I don't think that's I don't think that's incorrect. I think you're right. It is something I think about when we see what's going on. We see the things that this administration is saying, and then we see people who are farther left than that are saying. We see what they think, and the things they'd like to see the federal government do. It's like, okay, at some point we're all going to have to agree. Very, very. There's a very good chance that we're all going to agree that, okay, we're done. I mean, we're out. We're not going to be a part of this anymore. Now, again, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think if several states did it at one time, I think the feds would be in a real conundrum. Because, if there's states on opposite spectrums, opposite sides of the spectrum, as far as freedom goes, leaving at the same time, it's going to cause the government and the media a little bit of a problem, because how do you frame this? How do you frame in the media to tell people that, because the people know which state is, the right wing kooks or whatever, even though they might not be right wing, they just like freedom. And you have the far left. How does the media frame this in the grand scheme of things? How are they going to lay it out if polar opposite sides of the freedom spectrum both leave at the same time? How is the media going to portray that? That's going to be difficult for them because a lot of people are like, wait a minute, they have a lot of far left policies. Why did they leave? And if they depart at the same time, how will the media frame that to make it go like, oh my God? Because if it was just Missouri, they'd be like, oh, those crazy right wingers. They want guns and bloodshed in the street and all. They'd make up. They're all racist and homo and transphobic and all this. They'd come out with all their showstopper words, make it look horrible. But again, I think if both sides of that spectrum were to leave at the same time, it would be much harder for the government and the media to portray it in a single way. How would they do these things? So it's just it's things that I think about once in a while. And there's a lot of differing opinions on this topic, and I'm okay with that. I just like the discussion. I just like turning it over in my head, trying to think of what would be done, how the feds would react, and all those things. That's the kind of stuff that I kind of sit and think about. Yeah, Warrior Class 3 says, big problem with the federal government was the 17th Amendment, which allows senators to be elected by popular vote rather than state legislatures. Yeah, that is a big problem. That one was a no bueno type of thing. But anyway, that's just food for thought there, folks. Like I said, I didn't want to go very long. I'm about freaking dead on my feet today. Today was just a long day at work, and it's been a long day ever since I got home. It's been a long evening. But I told Patrick I would do this to try to help out as much as I could, and so that's what I'm doing. And I didn't expect really many people to come in, but I'm glad you all are here. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm gonna go make some social media posts and see if I can get people to call their state rep and raise a little awareness about what the people of Missouri would like to see, and that is getting rid of that nasty sales tax on groceries, and continue to push this. And hey, you know what? You never know. If we get enough phone calls, we get enough emails going in, maybe, just maybe, we can get this done. And Miss Coleman's bill can be resurrected from the ash heap. And even though it wouldn't technically be a bill, it's something that the state could do for the people that they're supposed to be doing anyway, right? They're supposed to be protecting life, liberty, and property. So, if you can keep a little bit more of your hard-earned money, then what's the problem, right? There is no problem. And Ganai says this may be part of their plan, have unrest that they don't want or control them, enforce martial law. Now, again, I hearken to what Ron Paul says a lot, which is Marxism needs chaos. In order for Marxism to thrive, it depends on chaos. So yeah, that could be part of it. I mean, we could see them pushing things to get out of control so they can say, oh, see how wacky these people are? Now we've got to step in and do X, Y, or Z. Hey, Gary. Nice to see you, buddy. So, yeah, just a little food for thought. And, again, I will be making some social media posts and trying to see if I can get some people to call their state reps, the governor's office during business hours, making phone calls, trying to get this. Oh, yes. That's right. Voodoo Queen's right. Make sure you let them know the House Bill 1992 was the third most popular bill across last year's session. Good point, Voodoo Queen. Completely forgot that was one of the three most popular bills during last legislative session. So, my bad. Again, I'm about half brain dead tonight. But anyway, folks, so hope to see you all on Friday night at 6:30. I'm going to have Tom Martz from the Locke and Smith Foundation. And again, he's going to tell us more about it Friday, but he is going to start a podcast, and he is going to teach. He is going to go through the Missouri Constitution from beginning to end. So if you don't want to sit down and read it, then you can listen to Tom, and you can learn the whole Missouri Constitution. That podcast will be coming soon. And he teaches 4 different state constitutions. And I believe they are Missouri. I know one's Oklahoma, I believe Arkansas, Missouri, and I want to say the other one's Kansas. But he also does a show, I guess, once a week down around the Springfield area. Now, what Tom does is he looks at legislation coming through and then sees if it's violating the state constitution. And he can point exactly what part of the Constitution that it goes against. So he's very good. I think this could be another good ally for the Missouri Freedom Initiative. So he's going to be on with me Friday night to discuss his organization and all that happy noise. And we'll see what comes from that. And I'm trying to get a gentleman by the name of Jeff Coleman, who is running for state representative out of the Libertarian Party in District 101. I'm going to try to have him on the 9th of September. Now, I texted him yesterday, and I haven't heard back. Hopefully, I took his number down right, because if I didn't, I'm going to feel real stupid. But I may get a hold of Catherine Dreyer and see if she can get in contact with him as well and get him lined up for the 9th. And then I'm probably going to try to have Patrick back on here within the next couple weeks to discuss. Here comes a yawn. A gold and silver bill and some other things that we can work on this legislative session. Now, Casey Rich made a comment in last week's video, and he's very serious. If we can get Amendment 3, which is the recreational legalization on marijuana, if we can get that turned away in November and get people to vote no on it, then Casey really wants to work on a recreational legalization bill, which is something we can work on for sure. I think Ron Hicks's original bill was good enough that we could take that and try running it with it again and see if we can get some sponsors for that bill. But that's something else. But I really want to see this gold and silver thing take off. Yeah, good night. Which, when I saw him Sunday, I said, Tom, look forward to speaking to you Friday night. He goes, oh, I thought he said Tuesday. It's like, no, Friday. I am going to send him a message tomorrow to confirm that. Confirm that. I got to try to get Jody Grace back on again, more than likely. But yeah, if you guys know of anybody else in the freedom movement to have on, I may contact that gentleman from Texas, the Texas organization, and try to have him back on with me again at some point. Warrior Class is asking, how do you think gold and silver currency would fare against fiat? Normally, bad currency drives out good. Well, I think it's going to come down to, I guess the way I look at it is if we're going to, as we're pushing this bill, which I know Patrick's going to do anyway, and there's going to be a lot of others involved. I mean, you guys will be, and other gold and silver groups are going to get. Like when this bill is written and it's finalized, it's going to gain traction like crazy. Other states, other gold and silver groups are going to get heavily involved. I think what we have to do is not only do we have to push this bill, we have to really educate people on the importance of gold and silver as a currency and not make it seem like that's just what conspiracy theorists do. They hoard up gold and silver so when the apocalypse comes, they got some currency. It's no. Education to the public on top of pushing this bill, I think, is the direction that we have to. And it's just like everything else that that this group does. I don't. So forgive me. I am not trying. When I say these things, when I say your group, or I don't want to say my group because it sounds like I run the group, and I don't. I don't want to. How do I say this? When I talk about your guys' group, the Missouri Freedom Initiative, I say your group a lot, and I know that Patrick has said that I'm a part of the group. And it's not that I want people to understand this. It's not that I don't want to be a part of the group. That's not what it's. I haven't been involved long enough to say, I'm part of the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Now Patrick tells me that I am. I do not feel that I have been with you all long enough and done quite enough work to say that I am involved with you. I do work with you guys. I talk to you all the time, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So when I say things like, and I make it sound like I'm distancing myself from you guys, that is not what I'm doing. But I am trying to. I don't want to take credit from what you guys have done with SEPA and everything else. Okay, that's my thing. You guys have done a lot of awesome work, and I am just getting started. So I don't include myself in the group quite yet. So, again, don't take offense when I say these things because I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys work like mad to get things done or to get things pushed. Hey, Catherine Dreyer. Catherine, I texted Jeff Coleman yesterday, and I haven't heard anything back from him. I don't know if I somehow got his number wrong in my phone. So if you talk to Jeff, would you let him know that I texted him, and if I got his number wrong and he didn't, or whatever, he didn't get the text, let him know that I'm trying to schedule him for an upcoming show, if you would, please. I would greatly appreciate it because I tried looking him up on Facebook, can't find him on Facebook. So yeah. Yes, Catherine, like Ganai said, we are trying to get, for this special session, we're trying to push people to call their state reps and the governor's office to try to get them to eliminate the sales tax on grocery items. So, thank God for people like Ganai and everybody else in this group who help me keep my head screwed on straight when I'm tired and I'm not thinking real clear. But yeah, folks, I just, again, I really enjoy being part of the live streams. I enjoy, and I have really enjoyed the time that I went to the Capitol and walked the halls of the Senate and all that. I really enjoyed it. It's just, I like the praise, but I just don't feel like I've done quite enough to be quite in the group yet. And that's something that I'm working on. And I told Patrick my mission now is to get more volunteers to help you guys. That's my mission now because the podcast is looking great. The downloads have gone up. The views have gone up. The subscriber numbers have gone up. And you guys have helped me with that. And my mission right now is to help get people pushed towards your organization, get more volunteers to do the emails, to do the phone calls, and do all these things, and get more people involved. That's my mission now. Now I'm going to continue to do, interviews. I am going to also contact Tony Lavasco and try to get him on very soon. Maybe a few other reps down the road, especially if there's certain bills that they're working on or what have you that we want to highlight. So I will be continuing to do those things too. Again, I think Patrick and I discussed having him on once a month. And what I'm going to try to do is do it the second or the third Friday of each month. So it's static, it's consistent. So we can, especially when the legislative session hits, so that way, I can let my audience know at MO Liberty Radio and KEYK at Lake of the Ozarks. Patrick can help inform them of what's going on, and maybe with that we can get some more people involved. If we just get people to make phone calls and write emails, I'd be happy. I'm not so much worried about them going up to the Capitol. If they would just show up to or just make a phone call and write emails to their reps, I would be extremely happy with that. Catherine, just so you know, I had a really good time Sunday. Really enjoyed myself. Enjoyed the speakers you had there. That was fun. Yeah. Again, anytime you want to come back on later down the road, you let me know. We'll have you back on. Even if we don't talk about your campaign, even if we just talk shop and talk about things we want to see done in the state of Missouri, that would be great. Yeah, Catherine, you're so nice, but I felt like I rambled so badly Sunday. Everyone's like, "Oh, you did fine." I'm like, I don't feel like I did fine. I was more, let's talk base. There you go. I felt more nervous at your event than Robert's for some reason, and I don't know why. Maybe because I went first or something. And that's nothing against you. That's the way you lined it up, and I was happy you asked me to speak. I was just more nervous at yours than I was at Robert's for some reason, and I felt like I rambled on. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but it was still enjoyable. And I got to meet some other people and talk to other people. It was more freedom lovers. That's always a positive thing when you can talk to more freedom lovers. It's always a good thing. So I really enjoyed the time I got to spend with you on Sunday. That was great. Oh man, whew. I think we can convince if we can convince Parson to put HB 1992 on his agenda this session, it would be in effect this year, 2023. Otherwise, it would be 2024. People need to help now. Yeah, people need the help now. Absolutely, Voodoo Queen. That's absolutely right. Yeah, because this inflation ain't going to get better anytime soon. I mean, estimates I'm hearing, even if I know the feds are talking about raising rates again. So let's say the government doesn't do anything else extremely stupid, which is, that's just naive in and of itself. But let's just say things don't get any more ridiculous. It's 10 to 20 years to climb out of this hole that they dug us. 10 to 20 years for any type of real recovery from this meth. Why would I say meth? I guess maybe I was trying to say math and I said meth instead. I'm mess. MESS, not METH. I did not do meth before, so don't even go there, people. But anyway, people do need help now, and if some of these idiots up there in Jeff City don't want to you know, if they don't want to help people out, then they got problems. And Warrior Class C3 says, added your live stream to TPH Network. Hopefully, we can get more support since there are a lot of members are in Missouri. Thank you, Warrior Class 3. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, I got to make it to one of those prepared homesteaders meetings before I go to the weekend shift, whenever the heck that is. I don't know. It could be weeks. It could be months. God. I'm telling you, folks, if I could ever just make a living out of podcasting and doing other things and just not go into a factory ever again, I would be a happy, happy man. At some point, I'm going to get a new desk and some other things, and I'm going to shift everything around in this office / spare bedroom, and nobody's going to see what they see behind me right now, this mess of things everywhere. But eventually I'm going to get a bigger or a better desk and move some things around, and it's going to look a little different here. Hopefully not too much longer down the road. I've been looking at some other desks and things like that, trying to figure out how I'm going to shift stuff around. But eventually I'm going to, and then it'll look a little different and it'll look a little cleaner. I think I'm going to get a nice backdrop and all kinds of stuff, and just kind of, because I know you guys don't care, but when you're trying to bring people in and they see this does not look very professional, right? That's behind me here. It doesn't look very professional. Again, I know you guys don't care. You care about content, but a little more professional look would not hurt anything. Just my 2 cents. Yeah, keep the base. I could do that. I could get one of those things, little deals, put it in the wall and just hang it up on the wall. Have it right behind me every week. Or I could just pick it up and... Nobody, I don't play enough for people to want to hear that. All right, folks. Well, thanks to everybody that tuned in. I did not expect this many people. You guys are always so involved. It's so nice. I remember when I did Facebook, Patrick convinced me to go from Facebook to YouTube. Let me tell you, that was the best move I've made as far as a live stream goes, because I'd be lucky to get 3 or 4 people in Facebook, but most of the people weren't getting any notifications that I was even going live. And I know YouTube's not the best, and I will also be moving over to Odyssey, but yeah, that's coming up a little down the road. I feel bad, too, because now I'm up to, like, all these subscribers, and I have to be like, hey, I'm going to Odyssey in a while, which kind of sucks, but I know there's people on Odyssey, too, that don't use YouTube that'll find me over there, and we'll just go from there. We'll build it back up. I have faith. Yeah, Catherine, you have a great evening, too. Good night, everybody. Again, I'm going to make some social media posts on this, try to get people to contact their state reps about getting or removing the sales tax from groceries. Patrick's really pushing for this right now, so I'm trying to help out. Thanks to Ganai, Voodoo Queen, Warrior Class 3, Gary Pride, Jonathan Ashley, Catherine Dreyer, BH. All of you that joined in tonight, greatly appreciate. Why do I always want to cut that word off? Appreciate each and every one of you. So again, have a great evening, and I'll see you Friday night with Tom Martz from the Lock and Smith Foundation. You all take care, be careful, and we'll see you Friday.